What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 16:05 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Europe. So France is going to be deploying nuclear-armed fighter jets to Germany as part of a nuclear deterrence umbrella for Europe. This was reported by the UK Telegraph. Okay, so France has a nuclear triad. They're the only country in Europe that has a nuclear triad, and their nuclear program is 100% domestically developed. So France is basically taking the lead, and they're going to try to create a nuclear umbrella over Europe because Europe is concerned that the U.S. under Trump may no longer protect Europe if Russia were to attack Europe. So now France is stepping up, and they're going to be deploying fighter jets with nuclear weapons in Germany. And what you're looking at here is one of those nuclear weapons. This is the ASMP missile, and this is a hypersonic cruise missile, and it has a range of several hundred miles, and they're currently working on extending the range of this missile to over 1,000 miles. But this thing can fly up to speeds of Mach 3, and it is a cruise missile, which means that it hugs the ground to avoid enemy radars. So it's basically invisible to enemy radar. It flies like, 1 or 200 feet above the ground, and it's hypersonic, so it can fly up to Mach 3. And this thing can carry the TN-81 thermonuclear warhead, which has a variable yield from 100 to 300 kilotons. Okay, so they can adjust the yield, but typically they're deployed with the 300 kiloton setting, which is massive. Okay, that's like 10 times the power of the Hiroshima bomb in Japan in World War II. Okay, so France is not messing around, and these are deployed on the Mirage 2000 fighter jets. Okay, so very serious situation. And this afternoon we have U.S. nuclear forces on very high alert. They were on very high alert last night. We were covering in the live stream the 3-year anniversary, and there were some B-2 stealth bombers airborne over the continental United States last night. They were getting aerially refueled over Missouri, where Whiteman Air Force Base is. And all of Ukraine was lit up under an air raid alert last night, and we were expecting potentially some kind of massive strike because Russia moved 20 bombers close to Ukraine. And also there was a Russian open skies plane that was doing loops near Kapustin Yar, which is the training facility in Russia where they launched the Oreshnik from the first time around. The Oreshnik is the Russian IRBM, or intermediate range ballistic missile. And so this open skies plane is a special plane that was developed by Russia for treaty compliance with the U.S., and the open skies plane can detect and track missiles. They can measure the trajectories and various types of telemetry related to a missile. So when the U.S. did missile tests, Russia could use that open skies plane to learn about the missile, how fast it's going, how high it's going, etc., all the details of the missile. And they had that thing looping near Kapustin Yar, close to Chechnya, all night last night. So potentially they were considering launching an Oreshnik, but they didn't for some reason. And this afternoon we have half of Ukraine, or most of Ukraine, under an air raid alert right now. We also have 3 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air over the continental United States. We also have a Cobra Ball plane that took off from Strategic Command Headquarters and is now going out into the Pacific. And a Cobra Ball is a plane similar to the Russian open skies plane that can detect and track missile trajectories. Okay. Also, we have 2 B-52 nuclear bombers airborne over Texas right now. And we also have a B-1 strategic bomber over the Black Hills region with an aerial refueler. And we also have some interesting reconnaissance activity over the upper Midwest. We have one RC-135 that took off from Offutt Air Base doing a north to south pattern here, which means that it's looking east and west because they have side-looking radars, so they're looking out towards the Atlantic and towards the Pacific when they're doing these loops. And then we have another one doing an east to west loop over Wyoming and South Dakota, which means that it's looking north to south. So potentially they're scanning for any threats to the U.S., any kind of missiles or aircraft. Okay, so U.S. nuclear forces are on very, very high alert for some reason this afternoon. And Germany is going to be signing an emergency defense fund to counter Russia and prepare for a Russian invasion. They're going to be voting on this bill for 200 billion euros on March 24th. Okay, so we know that Germany now has a new chancellor, and the new chancellor is very hawkish against Russia. He said that the U.S. and NATO didn't do enough to help Ukraine so far, and he's the one that criticized Olaf Scholz for not giving Ukraine Taurus missiles. Well, now he's the president of Germany, okay, the chancellor. Okay, so Germany will be passing a 200 billion euro emergency defense fund to rebuild their military to counter Russia and prepare for a Russian invasion. That is absolutely huge news. We know that the European Commission, the EU, is going to be passing a $700 billion emergency aid package for European countries and for Ukraine to build up their militaries, because Russia is about to attack Europe, okay? And Rheinmetall, which is Germany's main defense contractor and Europe's top ammunition maker, intends to repurpose 2 of its automotive plants in Germany to mostly make defense equipment, okay? So that's a sign that Germany is preparing for war. And the Chinese president Xi Jinping rejected Trump's offer to mutually cut defense budgets by 50%. Okay, so China rejecting Trump's offer to mutually cut defense budgets, pouring cold water on Trump's idea, just like Russia poured cold water on Trump's ceasefire idea yesterday. And the Ukrainian parliament passed a resolution reaffirming Zelensky's legitimacy as president and the constitutionally mandated requirement that keeps him in power throughout the duration of the war due to martial law. Okay, so Ukraine's parliament voted on Zelensky's legitimacy because Trump and his team were saying that, oh, Zelensky needs to hold elections. They haven't had an election in a while. Well, they went and voted to reaffirm his legitimacy. And what about Putin? Why doesn't Putin have to hold elections? He's been in power for 26 years. First, he was the prime minister in 1999 for several years, and then he's been president ever since. So he's been president for 20 plus years. Why don't they have a real election in Russia with international observers, okay? And the Russian foreign minister Sergei Lavrov poured cold water on a ceasefire and peace deal while in Turkey and said Russia is ready for talks with Ukraine, Europe, and any willing party, but combat will cease only when a settlement acceptable to Moscow is reached. The option of immediate pacification, pausing military actions along the line of contact, and thinking through further steps will not suit Russia, the minister stressed. Okay, so Trump has been pushing this idea of let's just get an immediate ceasefire and then we'll figure out the rest later. But Russia doesn't want to do that because they're concerned that that will just give Ukraine time to breathe and to recuperate. And they don't want to do that. They want to keep Ukraine on their heels and keep the pressure, the military pressure against Ukraine. Okay. And the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov said that the U.S. wants a quick ceasefire in Ukraine without a comprehensive and long-term solution. And we have explained to them in detail that this is unacceptable from our point of view. Okay? And Putin said yesterday that Trump's position is not in Russia's interests, it's in Ukraine's interests. Okay? So Russia's not stupid. They know what Trump is trying to do. And Trump said that reclaiming occupied territories is possible for Ukraine, but not easy. He said, "You're asking whether or not the Ukrainians could take back the land that they lost, and I say that yes, perhaps some of it, yes, but that's not an easy thing to do," Trump said yesterday during a meeting with Emmanuel Macron. And Iran's defense minister says Iran will respond to any mistake that the enemies make with a firm response that will make them regret it. Wow. And there's currently an energy crisis in Iran. Schools and government offices in most of Iran were closed today as part of an energy conservation program. And here's a map of all the areas in Iran that had these emergency closures of schools and government offices to conserve energy. Okay, all the areas shaded in orange, so basically the entire country. Okay, absolutely insane. And Poland's foreign minister revealed that recently Russia had secretly sold off 100 tons of Russia's gold reserves. So potentially Putin is running out of money for his war, and he's having to sell off gold to fund the war. And the German finance minister told Reuters that Russia will not be readmitted into the G7, even though Trump requested that. And Trump closed the U.S. military base in Greece in Alexandropolis. And China held live fire exercises in the Gulf of Tonkin after Vietnam marked new territorial claims. Chinese authorities said they began live fire exercises in the Gulf of Tonkin on Monday, only days after Vietnam announced a new line marking what it considers its territory in the body of water between the countries. China's Maritime Safety Administration said the exercises would be focused on the Beibu Gulf area closer to the Chinese side of the Gulf of Tonkin and would run through Thursday evening. Wow, so China is pissed that Vietnam claimed some territorial waters as theirs, and Vietnam is saying that it's within international law. And just a couple of days ago, China did live fire exercises in the Tasman Sea, just like 50 miles offshore from Australia, and Australia had to divert flights because they were doing these unannounced live fire exercises. Okay, so China is out of control. Okay, they're bullying all their neighbors. Okay, they're bullying Australia, they're bullying Vietnam, they're bullying the Philippines, they're bullying Taiwan, they're bullying South Korea, they're bullying Japan. And what are we doing about it so far? Nothing. Okay, we're talking about cutting our defense budget. Just totally insane. We should immediately move 2 or 3 carrier strike groups right where China's doing these exercises and see how they like it, and start doing exercises right next to them. Okay, instead of talking about cutting defense budgets. And Elon Musk will face consequences for interfering in Germany's election. This is what the new Chancellor of Germany threatened, Friedrich Merz. Very interesting. And here we have some more U.S. military reconnaissance over Mexico. This was last night. You can see a U.S. Customs and Border Protection plane flying off the coast of Baja California, and another P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter patrolling the Mexican border with Arizona and California. So I do believe we're going to see some strikes on the cartels. We already have drones flying over Mexico right now, so it's just a matter of time before they drop bombs from those drones. And here we have video footage of the B-52 flyover in Tallinn, Estonia yesterday, celebrating Estonia's Independence Day. Check this out. It flew as low as 1,000 feet. Okay, so it was very, very low. So So that's a pretty cool sight to see if you're an Estonian. I wonder if some Estonians probably didn't even know they were doing this, and they look outside and they see this huge bomber and they think, oh wow, this is it. World War III kicked off. They're going to go bomb Russia now, you know. But it's escorted here by F-35s and looks like F-16s or F-18s. And these B-52s are still part of our nuclear triad. They don't drop gravity nukes anymore. They have the AGM-86 air-launched cruise missile, which has a range of 1,500 miles. It's basically like an air-launched Tomahawk missile, and it can carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which is the same warhead that the Tomahawk can carry, which has a yield of, I believe, 150 kilotons, so massive firepower. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news, and I might be in the 24/7 live stream, so check it out. Also, check out my sponsors, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, Olight. I have a lot of good discounts, GUNNR Optics, and also Cutting Edge Bullets. If you're a hand loader, I have lots of good discounts, so take advantage of them. Also, consider downloading my app from the Google Play Store. It is 100% free, and it lets me send out notifications to you when things are going on. Like last night, I was sending out notifications to people with my app, and they were getting updated with the app. Okay, so it's totally free, and every time I post a video or go live, I also post it to the app, so you'll never miss an update. But until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.